Hello, Mrs. Schmaltz here. In this video, you're going to learn how to solve equations with lots of steps. Don't panic, you can do it. Just remember one step at a time. Like always, when you're solving equations, the goal is to get the variable by itself. You're going to do this using 5 simple steps. First, you're going to simplify each side of the equation if necessary. This might mean distributing or combining like terms, or maybe both. After you have done that, your job is to eliminate a constant, a plain number, by adding or subtracting it. You're going to do the opposite. You're going to do that to both sides, just like when you solve simple equations. Next, you're going to eliminate a variable term by adding or subtracting. Ideally, then, you're going to have your variables on one side of the equation and your number on the other. You're going to then eliminate the coefficients, that number in front of the variable, by multiplying or dividing. This should give you the solution to the equation. Once you have the solution, you're going to check your answer by plugging in. Let's look at some examples. Here we have -2 times the quantity of x plus 7 equals 5x. Need to distribute first. And I see I have x's. I need to get those on the same side. I don't have any like terms to combine. I don't need to move that constant because there's no constant over here to combine it with. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to get rid of this minus 2x because that would make it so that -14 is by itself. The opposite of minus 2x is plus 2x. I'm going to bring down my -14, my equals, and 5x plus 2x is 7x. Now my next step is to get rid of the coefficients. This was 7 times x, so I'm going to do the opposite and divide by 7. I'm left with -2 equals x. I'm going to check my answer by plugging in. If I plug in -2 here, -2 plus 7 is 5. So I have -2 times 5. That gives me -10. Over here I have 5 times -2, which is -10. So this works. The next example. I'm going to go ahead and simplify. That is my first step. So I'm going to simplify and do 3 times x minus 9 plus 8x equals 5x minus 6. I've distributed, and next on my list is to combine like terms. 3x plus 8x is 11x. Bring down my minus 9 and my 5x minus 6. I'm now going to eliminate a variable term. Some people always like to get, I'm sorry, I said variable, I meant constant. Now I'm going to eliminate a constant term. My choices are to add 9 to both sides or add 6. Some people like to always add 9 to both sides because that gets your constants on the right side of the equation. And some people just like that. I like positive numbers, so this works for me too, because -6 plus 9 is positive 3. I think they're just a little bit easier to work with. So now that we've got our constants on the same side, we need to move our variables. So I need to subtract a 5x to get rid of it on that side and get it over here with these x's that are by themselves. That gives me 6x equals 3. And I need to now get rid of my coefficient, so I'm going to divide by 6. That gives me x equals 1/2. Let's see if that works. 3 times 1/2 minus 3, which is negative 2.5, plus 8 times 1/2, and half of 8 is 4. We need to see if that equals 5 times 1/2, which is 2, and 5/10 minus 6. This, I know, looks complicated to do in your head. Feel free to use your calculator to check and see if they are equal. And when you put them in your calculator, over here you get negative 3 and 5/10, and over here you get negative 3 and 5/10. Those are equal, so 1/2 is our solution. If you follow those 5 steps that were in the earlier slide, you should be able to solve these equations with no problem.